LSJ Drive.
Hello and welcome to LSJ Drive. I'm James Hastelow, your host for today, bringing you your news, sport and entertainment. Coming up today, Lincoln returned to Step 4 football, Lindham Cricket started their season against Netlham, and a quiz by our all-knowing John Bragg. We'll also be bringing you travel and weather, giving you updates through the show. Lincoln United have achieved promotion back to Step 4 of the non-league pyramid after a 0-0 draw with Skegness Town on Easter Monday. The Whites have gone undefeated in 23 matches, a run which has seen them see off the title rivals Eastwood CFC and Bourne Town. After a second place finish in 2024, they've gone all the way in 2025. Reporter Thomas Westcott found out more.
That was the moment Lincoln United supporters had been waiting for. The full-time whistle in a rainy Skegness sealed promotion back to Step 4 for the Whites, 2 years after dropping down to Step 5. They were unbeaten in 22 matches prior to their trip to the East Coast, and a 0-0 draw was enough to be crowned champions of the United Counties League Premier Division North. Results elsewhere for title rivals Eastwood CFC and Bourne Town helped ease pressure on Lincoln, allowing it to become a party occasion in Skegness. Manager Scott Helliwell, who has secured promotion in his first season at the club, spoke of what it means to everyone at Lincoln United.
It means everything to us as a management team. It means everything. It should mean everything to the players, but more importantly, it means everything to the fans, and not just the fans. I mean, the committee members and the volunteers we've got at the clubs. Unbelievable amount of people what put shift in. And that's what I said to the lads. Like, as a player, you don't see what people put in behind the scenes, and when you become like part of a management team, or manager, whatever, you see. You see things what go on behind the scenes, whether it's just people filling water bottles up, people washing bibs, people sorting buses out for away games. You know what I mean? There's that many people what we need to thank. I mean, it won't be possible without the volunteers.
The Whites had been a Step 4 club for much of their recent history, but after relegation in 2023, the club threatened to slip into the shadows of non-league football in Lincolnshire. Instead, though, they rebuilt a new playing squad, and after a second-place finish last season, went one better this campaign. Director of Football, Dave Frecklington, who has been part of the club for most of his adult life, spoke during the title celebrations.
I think 23 games unbeaten tells you everything that you need to know about the club, really, and the team, the management team and the players. They've been, on unbelievable form, and to go on that kind of run is championship form. So, we're just delighted and just pleased for everyone at the football club, really, because we've been part of this football club for a long, long time. Obviously, we've all gone our separate ways at times, but we were Lincoln lads and we want to put the football club back at Step 4, and it's took us 2 years to do that.
Lincoln United, who have already now won 2 trophies this season with County Cup and League success, have a chance to make it a historic treble with a League Cup final versus Amesbury Rovers on Bank Holiday Monday in May. For now, though, celebrations will live long in the memory for Lincoln United, who are finally back where they belong.
The time is now 3:28, and here's the news headlines and weather with Oliver Castle.
Greater Lincolnshire heads to the polls for historic first mayoral and county council elections. We're being warned of the dangers of warm weather as firefighters battle a blaze in the Peak District. Britain's facing its hottest day of the year so far, with temperatures expected to hit 29 degrees later. And a charity football match in Lincoln has raised over £1,700 in memory of local grassroots coach Steve Court. And the weather, the warm and sunny conditions will continue into this evening with highs of 27 degrees. Overnight it will remain mild with temperatures reaching 17 degrees Celsius. And tomorrow it will remain sunny but feel cooler with temperatures of 18 degrees.
Sounds like a warm one tonight. Thanks, Oliver.
LSJ News.
And Oliver, you've been looking at the roads. How are they looking today?
Yeah, the roads are looking mostly good this afternoon with only minor delays. Traffic is looking slow on the A15 on the Rhizome Road by the Lincolnshire Showground. There's also delays on the Lincoln Bypass approaching Rugby Road.
Thanks, Oliver. We'll be back with another travel update later in the show. A charity match for a much-loved grassroots football manager in Lincoln has helped raise money for a cause that was a key part of his life. Steve Court suffered with heart issues and died last year, leaving behind a lasting legacy. The game set up in his honour featured his beloved Highcombe Tigers and will be the first of many. Reporter Jamie Johnson found out more.
Close to £2,000 has been raised for charity in Lincoln after a memorial football game in the city. It was to remember Steve Court, the former vice chairman and manager at Highcombe Tigers. His son Charlie played in the game and scored. Steve's wife Nikki described the occasion as a fitting tribute.
We knew how incredible he was, and we knew what we saw in him, and we knew other people did, but at the same time what we're seeing now is so tangible to that. It's not just people saying, oh, he's an incredible guy, it's people being inspired to the point of saying, we need to do this, and we need to set this up, and we need to put this in his name and make it something real. So, and it is, and it's helped us with our grief incredibly, because we don't feel isolated. We feel empowered that, like, we've got a community of grief around us and people get it.
More than 200 people made their way to Lincoln Moorlands for the charity game, which ended 4-1 to Highcombe Tigers. The more than £1,700 went to Lincoln Mind, a mental health charity based in Lincoln city centre. It is a cause important to Steve, as his wife Nikki described.
Massive thing for Steve, especially with grassroots football, was always about mental health and inclusivity. You know, everyone, football is for everyone. This is not about how fit you are, it's not about where you're from, it's not about anything, even, you know, gender. It's about getting people together and just really letting go and having fun with it.
Lincoln Mind helps and supports people with a wide range of mental illnesses, including depression and anxiety. And charity manager Stuart Bond says the money will go a long way.
I saw it was that much. I was blown away, to be honest. It's an amazing amount of money, isn't it? So yes, it'll make a massive difference to Mind, and obviously be able to get out and help more people, which is what it's all about.
Highcombe Tigers are hoping to make the game an annual event, awarding the Steve Court Memorial Cup to the winners.
And now time for the quiz with our very own master of knowledge, Mr. John Bragg. John, what have you got in store for me today?
Good afternoon, James. Today's quiz is all about April 2025 and the events that transpired in the month just past. If you fail to get 2 or more questions correct, you know the drill. You have to sing the outro to the show. Likewise for me if you get 2 right. Deal?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, question 1. Who is the reigning World Snooker Champion who was knocked out in the first round of this year's championship?
Oh, I'm not too sure. I'm gonna say Judd Trump. Why not?
Wrong, I'm afraid. The correct answer is Kyron Wilson. He was knocked out by Lei Fan and is the latest victim to the Crucible curse. I'll be back in a few minutes with question number 2.
Thanks, John. And back to the sport. A pair of brothers from Worcester who take on crazy running challenges for charity say they are not stopping anytime soon. Joe Pritchard most recently took on a 24-hour treadmill run inside his local pub in Shrawley. And while he recovers, it's his brother Alfie's turn to start planning and preparing for his next challenge. Ella Witcher has more.
Brothers, best friends and business partners. And when they're not running their activewear brand, they're quite literally running across the country. Alfie and Joe Pritchard set up their business Mile Pie in 2024, where 25% of profit goes to charity, and alongside that, they take on extreme running challenges to raise as much money for various causes close to their hearts.
My brother ran from John O'Groats to Land's End, and then me and Alfie did Dragon's Back race, which is supposedly the toughest mountain race in the world. It's from the top of Wales to the bottom.
Most recently, Joe swapped the trails for treadmills, running on one non-stop for 24 hours inside a local pub to raise money for the My Name's Doddy Foundation.
All these people are coming throughout the day to give me some money to go towards Doddy Weir, and even randomers were coming past the pub and chucking £20 note at me saying, "That's amazing what you've done. It's an amazing cause you're raising money for," so I couldn't let people down.
Joe ran a total of 104 miles across the 24 hours and raised over £4,500, with 1,700 of that coming from cash donations in the pub on the day. landlady of the New Inn, Shrawley, Sue Seaborn, had a front row seat.
Seeing Joe go through the night and then seeing the effects of how he was the next morning was so emotional for me. I was just in disbelief and in awe as well. It was a lot of mixed emotions for me personally, and one that I am so glad that I had, part of.
While Joe recovers from his time on the treadmill, Alfie is already preparing for his next challenge.
I think he's going to do an Ironman but triple each distance in July, yeah. So that'll take him a while, but it's his turn now, so I can film.
Mile Pie is more than just a brand. As the brothers say, it's activewear with a story. And at every mile, they're running towards change.
It's Thursday the 1st of May, and for those in Greater Lincolnshire, it's a big day for the ballot box. I'm joined here today with Oliver Castle again to tell us more.
That's right, today marks the first ever mayoral election for the new Greater Lincolnshire Combined Authority, and it's also County Council election day for many areas. Double duty for democracy.
So what exactly is this Combined Authority election then?
Well, the new Metro Mayor will oversee things like transport, housing and economic growth across the region, from Lincoln to Grimsby and Scunthorpe to Boston. It's part of the new devolution deal with the government that promises more local control along with more funding.
Yeah, I have heard that they're calling it a game changer, aren't they, for the region? On the county council side, what's going on there?
Voters will be choosing councillors to deal with day-to-day issues like roads, so it may not feel too flashy, but it does matter.
Brilliant. Well, we hope to see everyone who is registered to vote be there. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us, Oliver?
Yes, polls opened at 7 o'clock this morning and they'll close at 10 o'clock tonight. You do need to bring your voter ID with you in order to vote, and if you're unsure where your polling station is, you can check on your polling card or go online to your local council's website. And remember, if you make it to the line by 10 p.m, you can still vote.
We'll have updates throughout the day and bring you live coverage as the result starts coming in overnight and tomorrow morning. So remember to grab your ID and go vote. Your voice, your county, your decision. And now, back to the quiz. I know you've all been waiting for it. Returning is Quizmaster John with the second question on April 2025. Over to you, John. I'm ready.
Question 2 coming right up. Who won their record-breaking 17th WWE Championship on April 20th at WrestleMania 41? You much of a wrestling fan?
I'm a massive wrestling fan. I think if I got this wrong, I'll be very sad and I'll be ashamed. So, I believe it is John Cena, the man.
Well done. That is the correct answer. He defeated Cody Rhodes in the main event of Night 2. I'll be back shortly with the final question.
All right, thanks, John. Now, Lyndon Cricket played their opening match of the season on Sunday against Netlham. Favourites to win the division, all eyes were on the team to see if they could make a good start. Here is Zach Leach speaking to James Kempton, coach of Lyndon.
With spring at its peak, three things are for certain. The sound of springtime wildlife, the sound of springtime insects, and the sound of springtime cricket. On Sunday, Lyndon Cricket Club took part in the first match of the Lincolnshire Cricket Board season. Against them was local village team Netlham. Although it's only the first game of the season, the team have already been touted to win the division. Over the winter they have been training indoors. I spoke to coach James Kempton about translating indoor training to success on the field.
It is very challenging because the indoor setting is a very sort of sterile environment. It's very condensed, very confined, so you can often find that players who excel in nets don't, when they get out into the middle on the grass, they're not able to translate that into performances, and vice versa.
Winning the coin toss, Lyndon batted first. However, they struck early jeopardy when star batsman Will Wright was bowled out. The ship would have to be steadied by second batsman Piers Morley, who would thrive under pressure, claiming a century during his time at the crease. By the end of their overs, Lyndon had totalled 281 runs and only lost 2 wickets. With a very competitive score, the team would take a break for bacon sandwiches before bowling. Full of confidence, they would be able to grab a bonus point in the next innings if they could take 10 wickets. Lyndon continued their solid progress, taking 2 wickets in the first 4 overs. Netlham began to fall like dominoes, wicket after wicket, until Lyndon claimed their 10th batsman. The game ended in a Lyndon victory, with Netlham only achieving a score of 183. I talked to Lyndon captain Will Taylor about the importance of that bonus point.
It's
very easy to drift through games, and you can sort of think, well, yeah, we've won it now, and sort of take your foot off the gas. But I think those are the moments that really sort of set the good teams from the really, really good teams. Say those little bonus points are always going to go quite a long way at the end of the season. You never know how much you're going to rely on those moving forward.
Victorious for now, the men's first team will be planning to repeat this result against their next opponents, Woodhall Spa.
LSJ Sport.
The time is now 3:40 and it's time for your sports headlines with Charlie Harwood.
Lincoln United have been crowned champions of the UCL Premier Division North, achieving promotion back to Step 4 of the non-league pyramid. A 0-0 draw away to Skegness Town was enough to get the Whites over the line. Manager Scott Hellowell said the promotion was for the fans. The Football Association has announced that it will ban transgender women from playing in women's football from the 1st of June. This is because of the ruling from the Supreme Court saying that the terms woman in the Equality Act refers to only biological women. This decision has been announced just over a month after the FA ruled that transgender women could play in the women's leagues.
It's helped us with our grief incredibly because we don't feel isolated. We feel empowered that we've got a community of grief around us and people get it. So you're not feeling like you're shouting from the rooftop, we've lost this incredible person, because they're actually shouting it back at us, it helps us to then celebrate him.
Meanwhile, the London Marathon has broken its own record for the world's biggest one-day fundraising event after the 2025 race generated more than £75 million for charity. Last night's football saw 2 Champions League games as Barcelona drew to Inter Milan in a 6-goal thriller and Arsenal lost 1-0 to PSG at the Emirates. It was opening match day for Linden Cricket Club as they played Netlham at the LSA. Zach Leach talked to coach James Kempton about the difficulties of converting winter training to cricketing success.
It is very challenging because the indoor setting is a very sort of sterile environment. It's very condensed, very confined. So you can often find the players who excel in nets don't, when they get out into the middle on the grass, they're not able to translate that into performances, and vice versa.
Kempton from Lincoln Cricket Club there, and that is it from me.
And staying with sport, Lincoln City Women's saw their home campaign come to an end this Easter. The Imps, who have already confirmed their relegation, kicked off against Notts County, hoping to add their total rally to 1 point this season. The fixture ended 3-0 to the visitors, with familiar faces playing against the Imps. Carl Freegard reports.
Lincoln City Women's competed in their final home game of the season over Easter. The Imps hosted Notts County at Gainsborough Trinity Stadium, which will not be the home ground of Lincoln City next season. Instead, the side will return to playing in Lincoln. The scoreline ended 3-0 to the visitors, with ex-Imp midfielder Leah Hardy scoring against her former club. Despite the scoreline, Lincoln City manager Charlotte Dinsdale was pleased with her side's first half performance.
Yeah, we played players out of position today, and I think I've just said it to the girls in there that they've done themselves proud, against a strong, organised Notts County who beat us 4-0 earlier on in the season. So good that we kept the scoreline down a little bit, and really pleased to sort of go into the first half at 0-0.
City will now turn their attention to tomorrow's County Cup final against local rivals Lincoln United. The match kicks off at 7:45 in the evening at Boston United's ground.
LSJ News.
And now for your news headlines with Oliver Castle.
Greater Lincolnshire residents cast their votes in the first ever mayoral election and key county council races. We're being warned of the dangers of warm weather as firefighters battle a blaze in the Peak District. Britain's facing its hottest day of the year so far, with temperatures expected to hit 29 degrees later. And a charity football club match in Lincoln has raised over £1,700 in memory of local grassroots coach Steve Court. And the weather? The warm and sunny conditions will continue into this evening with highs of 27 degrees. Overnight it will remain mild with temperatures reaching 17 degrees Celsius. And tomorrow will remain sunny but feel cooler with temperatures of 18 degrees.
Thanks, Oliver. And Oliver, also looking at the roads. How are they now?
The roads are looking mostly free of congestion this afternoon, but the traffic is looking slow on the A15 on Ricehome Road by the Lincolnshire Showground. And there's also delays on the Lincoln Bypass approaching Rugby Road.
Thanks, Oliver, again. That's all with the news today, but before we go, we've got the final question from John. I believe he's here with me now in the studio to tell me the final question. Here we go.
Here I am, your third and final question, James. Are you ready?
I think so.
How many years was Pope Francis Pope for? Do you know much about poping?
You know what? I watched the funeral on the weekend, so I think I might know this one. And I think it might shoot you in the foot. So, I believe Pope Francis came into power, or whatever he does as the Pope, in 2013. So, using my maths GCSE degree and level, I'm going to say 12 years.
Yep, that is correct.
Come on!
So, unfortunately, I now have to sing the outro, I believe.
Yep, that was the forfeit, so whenever you're ready, go for it.
All right. That's all, folks. Thanks for listening to the LSJ Drive.
Beautiful.